All right, Pisces, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for August 7th through the 13th. My name is Athen. So another very transformative week of September. Well, one of the first ones really, but it's going to be a very transformative week. And this one is no exception. We've got the solar eclipse taking place here in your 6th house, which has to do with your daily activities, your routine. I've been talking a lot about the 6th house because you have so much activity here. And this solar eclipse is going to be heralding new beginnings, very major new beginnings involving, for some of you, your work. Some of you, your daily experiences, which might be work. It might be around the house. It might be taking care of things. It might be with your health, your routine, your diet, those aspects of life, which are, of course, very important. And it's all just sort of, in the just kind of just planting seeds right now, and it's just kind of all up in the air, and that's good. And that's how to work with this solar eclipse, is to all solar eclipse, all new moon energies, kind of sit with it, go within, reflect on it, plant those seeds, and experiment, try new things with the routine, the health, the work. But this is quite transformative, and I think what you'll find is over the next few months, there's this shift that's happening. Now the North Node's going to be going into your 6th house, which is all about putting energy into those areas, maybe new work, maybe the health, etc. That will be the series of eclipses that will be over the next coming years. So it's the first of the major eclipses that will be taking place now, which have been in your 7th, but are now shifting into your 6th. And you'll see this unfolding over the next couple weeks in the short term and few months in the long term. So that's the large energy of the week. Now, if you look at the transit graph, we've got some other aspects leading into the solar eclipse. We got Mars trining up to Uranus and Mercury squaring up to Pluto. And this is during the week. This is like the work week. So there is this inspiration, first of all, that is quite liberating here for the health, the diet, the routine. You guys should be quite motivated here for these daily activities, which is Mars, but probably, especially this week, I would say, with this trine up to Uranus. This, of course, depends on your personal chart. But generally, for all of you, should be quite motivated. Maybe there's a new opportunity, work opportunity, opportunity to be of service in some way, whether it's work or otherwise. And that can be very motivating. So that's quite nice. It mixes up that routine, but again, it's about applying yourself so you have more time, you have more energy, you have more motivation to work towards a lot of these elements that have to do with self-improvement or service work to others. So with that going on, Mercury does square up to Pluto. So there is this challenge of the week as well, and this is involving perhaps relationships for you and maybe even the career work stuff. The big picture stuff. So first of all, Pluto here has been transforming your work, your career, everything on that public level. And this is perhaps very deep too with, for those of you who have like, bosses and things like that, authority figures, that's Pluto in the 10th sometimes. Very serious, very transformative. But with this anyways, it's about being aware of your relationships, about being aware of your mind and not getting too hung up on your own personal viewpoints and getting too obsessive maybe about relationships or one-on-one connections. It'll be very different for each of you, but usually Mercury squaring Pluto can be that kind of obsessive energy where we just think too much about, in this sense, maybe some relationship or something like that. It can be any kind of relationship, but it's important to be aware of the mind, have that awareness, be willing to make change with the way you view relationships, and and letting the ego take the back seat. Any power struggles take the back seat, because what then will end up happening is space, and it'll be through that space that you can have very good communications, very deep, very powerful communications and sharing ideas with your relationships, which is a fantastic way of working with this, and maybe even constructive. Maybe you could get quite a bit done for those of you who work in partnerships or with others, because you are intent on, getting down to the bottom of things, seeing things for how they are, and actually working constructively towards whatever it is you might be working on there. All right, so that's Mercury there. Mercury does, of course, rule your 4th house as well, so maybe it might be, to some extent, the home and family stuff. So let's go ahead and look at this weekend. So this weekend we do have Mercury sextiling up to Venus. Let me just check something here real quick. Okay, just want to make sure of something. So we've got over the weekend with this solar eclipse, we've got Mercury and Venus in sextile. So this is actually a leisurely activity. It's good for taking it easy, maybe getting some rest. And this is an easing of the mind. So anything that we are perhaps very intent on working on with the mind here during the week with that square up to Pluto, it's quite the shift actually. And then the weekend, it's quite liberating, quite nice, focusing on things that we appreciate and enjoy in life. And the solar eclipse energy is always a good time to rest anyways. Go within, and there are some oppositions here we want to look at. I've been talking a lot about these oppositions between the 6th house and your 12th house, because you've had Neptune and Chiron opposing up to these planets. Now this week, Jupiter opposing up to Neptune this weekend in particular. So watch going to any ideals or fantasies about escaping the work, right? Because this opposition is that there are opportunities, there are visions to be seen on how you can have more, alone time and have more spiritual time, but without going to any extremes with it, right? Because the 6th house is so important in terms of applying our spirituality and doing our service work, and vice versa. If you do want to do those spiritual things, it's about putting in the work and seeing things for how they are. As long as you're willing to see people and things for how they are, especially with philosophy and things like that, even with your career, because this is your ruler, so it's very important for you Pisceans. Both rulers actually, personal and or primary and secondary. So there is this sort of dual nature of this. One part of you might be very idealistic about the spiritual stuff. One of you very idealistic about the work stuff. So remember that they're one and the same. Service work is your spiritual work, is the way I like to see that personally, and seeing that they are both very important aspects of life. Where there's work, there's rest. Where there's spiritual time, where there's spiritual time and rest, there's also work to be done. So finding that middle point with that, and having faith too, and trust that everything is unfolding in those areas, is a great way of working with this energy. So that's all setting this foundation. The strongest energy will be the solar eclipse as we approach it, and being open to change and making choices towards service work, something that's about passion too, because it's all in Leo. How you can give and contribute through your work more, and work that's more in alignment with what you're about. And it might be modifying existing one, it might be a new one for some of you. But it's going to be very transformative over the next few months. So Pisces, have a good one. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. If you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch. Thanks for watching. If you're new to Sidereal Astrology, be sure to check the description down below, because your sign might be different. So thanks again. Talk to you all next time.